Hey, what's up, you guys? Fico here, and I know that I haven't posted many videos on the personal channel, and this has sort of just become the habit of mine, even on my games channel. I do have a couple of videos already there, ready, and this week I'm going to do a best conscious effort to try to get many of those in there as best as possible, because there are a lot of topics there too, but here, this time, I'm going to try to do my best to give you guys a couple of videos in regards to one of the most awesomest weekends I have ever had. And it is the attendance to my very first anime convention. And this honor goes to Anime Festival in Orlando. It's called AFO. We are celebrating the 15th year that this convention has happened. This is only just my first con attendance to this AFO. This is my very first con attendance, period. Never been to a convention, never have even attended a comic book convention, nothing. The closest that I have been to sort of ish being something like geek culture and related and stuff like that was the Ren Fair. That was about as much as I've done. But to me, the Renaissance Festival doesn't very much, I think it falls too much into comparison with this, because the Renaissance Festival, I feel as though it has its own unique it's its own unique kind of thing. This is more of a convention. This is more like, oh, you got a couple of shows and a lot of vendors and a lot of people selling here. Well, it's here, it distinguishes itself a lot. So this first video, it's gonna be a little lengthy in size, I feel, because I do have a lot to talk about. But and obviously I'm gonna just go over through the experience, and the experience is awesome. I'm gonna go through a majority of the pros, a couple of cons. Of course, I have a few cons, and a few cons about the con, and a few tips to offer you for new con goers. Now, I'm not calling myself an expert. Like I just said, this is just my first ever convention attendance. There's a lot that I've learned from this one visit, and I feel as though this one is sort of like a benchmark. Not a benchmark, I'd say it's more like a test run to maybe like one day go out to do the bigger con. Maybe next year I'll do MetroCon. Though MetroCon and AFO are sort of just kind of hand in hand almost, so if I had to pick one, it would most definitely be AFO. It took place between the 25th and the 27th. It was in the Wyndham Orlando Resort at Orlando, and it was a little bit frustrating arriving there, and we noticed there was barely any parking. Like, there was a part of the building that was still under construction, and apparently there's this big ass area, like on the you drive in through the main entrance, and then onto the left there's just dirt path. There's like dirt road, and there's nothing there like construction equipment. It's a kind of like a bit of a eyesore if you're like a vacation goer, and it's like, wait, why are we staying in a place that's not even finished? Story was that every single year it's been hosted at the Wyndham. Then all of a sudden the Wyndham underwent renovations, and it didn't make it possible for the con to be hosted last year there. They had to move it somewhere else, and then it was hosted back here again. And they thought maybe con attendance was hit because of this problem. Maybe people didn't think it was going to be there. Maybe they were underimpressed with the last one. But I think this wasn't the con's organizers' fault. Although the con organizers really kind of blew it for some people who were doing panels. Like my friend Cindy, she wanted to host a panel, one of those late night 18 plus panels, and she wasn't told about this, that she couldn't do the panel, that she also couldn't do it. I guess it was because it was just a lot of like heavy booking. Also, maybe the Wyndham whole thing was just this, like, we're just getting new to this new location. I really would have loved to have seen her panel, even though it is not my thing. Hentai is not my thing. It's just, but it was pretty douchey that they didn't just come out and tell her that there's a chance that you might not be hosting this panel. Instead, they told all the panel goers that they could, and they didn't tell her. She had to find out through constant email messaging. So they probably wouldn't even have told her. It would have, if the communications hadn't happened, she probably would have just kept on assuming that she was probably going to do it. Maybe, maybe not. But whatever. But anyway, we arrived there very early, and the first thing you do is, or really much the only thing you can do before you do anything, is you have to go get this baby. And this is registration, pre-registration. Now, pre-registration are for those who get the yeah, see, there you go. This is the AFO badge. There it is, right there. You if you did pre-registration, which by the way I recommend you to do, you go to pre-registration. You pay for the ticket online, and then they already have your name printed there. If they can't, I did it through something called Eventbrite, and there's like the QR code, and I thought that meant that they could scan it, but they don't have a scan, so you basically had to take like a proof of purchase, which also apparently ended up causing another bit of problem with people that were paid the price for as a paneler, and all of a sudden that's something else that happened that didn't go through all the way. Very, very weird. But anyway, the point is, you already have your stuff paid for. All they do is they've already got your stuff printed out, and you need this all the time when you're at the convention floor to access a panel, to access the game room, to access anything inside of the panel area. You need to have this. You cannot go into any of these rooms because they have people on con staff at these places where they'll ask you have the badge flip like this. They'll ask you to flip it around, and I'm intentionally covering this because this covers my name. Okay. So like I said, the pre-registration and registration, that's all like really early. The check-in is at 3. So what do? There's a ton that you could do, and the whole weekend just flew by so fast because there's a lot that you could do. And mainly, one of the things that I didn't like, I was only looking forward to 2 things, really. The going to see the dealer's room and the artist alley. I'd admit, those were the only 2 things that were like, ooh, I got to see. But then, the game room, that was mind-blowing. And let's talk about the panels. Panels are these sort of like 1 hour, hour and a half, 2 hour activities in which it could either be a couple of people standing on stage or sitting on stage, giving you guys sort of like dispensing information, like talking to you about a certain subject. This is an anime convention, so a lot of these were about anime. Like, say, for instance, anime openings, and talking about, like, say, unnecessary minigames, or fanfiction 101, which, by the way, a good way to get the full con experience in terms of panels, pretty much everything else, is they give you one of these. Now, they said that this is normally like a pamphlet, but I guess they were a little short on cash this year to make a lot of these. So instead what they did was they printed 2 pages. But this is enough. You can also go to their website, and you could have seen their entire calendar. I did it. I went to I sent myself emails with the con panels that I was interested in doing. And that goes, I think, to... I'm going through the tips also, kind of unconsciously, but yeah. Apart from, like, pre-registering, because that kind of makes things easy, the planning your con is, I think, very essential, because you don't know where any of these rooms are, but you know the times. So you don't want to get caught in one place if you really want to go to a different panel, and then you're caught up on this one panel, because then you're missing. I've missed a few panels I wanted to go to because of either I got invited to go to another panel with them, and that was cool, or we got caught up eating somewhere. So yeah, there was that. Now, panels can be games that were hosted there by some people, or it could be about how-to panels. Certain things that I'll get into later, like the Steampunk 101 panels, the animes that are for chicks, science fiction anime. That's just kind of going through, like, things that kind of just boil down to breaking down these either subgenres in anime or subcultures like Steampunk did, which was one of my favorite panels there. I found these panels very fascinating, but I guess the reason why these panels are fascinating is because the people that deliver these panels, they're very passionate. They love what they do. They love talking to this to people, and that's one of the things that I think a good panel and a good panelist should be focused on. If you love what you are talking about and you're organized, yes, they were all PowerPoint presentations. Yes, that is something that unfortunately is a bit of a stigma from what I've noticed, but let's just put it to you this way. How else are you going to deliver this? I mean, there are other ways, but, you know, PowerPoint sort of just kind of goes through these little by little, and for the con attendees, this is just sort of something that they have to do to sort of get their point across. But overall, I enjoyed a grand majority of the panels that I went to. So if you're going to one of these anime conventions, do yourself a favor and plan on these cons. The only critique that I have is that the actual site doesn't have an awful lot of descriptions to the majority of these panels. They do not. And that's where the pamphlet would have come in handy, but because, again, you don't have much. And the reason I say that is because you go off going to the panels just simply based on the title of the panels. And then all of a sudden, they end up being something else. So it's more like a leap of faith. Just take a look, go in, and if you don't like the panel, then you just go out. Don't interrupt the panelist. Just stand up, walk away. They understand that when they get scheduled, you got panels that are kind of sort of overlapping to others. They understand. Some of these panels, you just can't sit through all of them if you want to make it through your panel planning. The Dealer's Hall. Oh my God, the Dealer's Hall. It's usually the dealer's room, but the dealer's hall, this is a hall. Just, it's amazing. I will be making a video, composing a video, which I took footage of every single part of this convention. And I took pictures from the dealer's hall as well. The dealer's hall is amazing. This is where you get all of your swag. Not swag. Swag, they just give it to you, but like if you want to buy t-shirts, if you want to buy figurines, if you want to buy kimonos, if you want to buy weapons that they sell, you know, it's like replica weapons, if you want to buy wigs, if you want to buy contact lenses for, like colored contact lenses, if you want to buy steampunk gear, if you want to buy video games, they sell video games there. If you want to buy anything that you have to pay that is there, that they sell at these retailing booths there, you will see it at this particular spot in the dealer's room. And they don't sell art because that's what the artist alley is for. And before I get to talk about the artist alley, I just like to say that this dealer's room, this dealer's hall was amazing. I could not think of one thing that wasn't there. And the thing that shocks me is that this is just, I asked Pat and Cindy, how does this measure up to the bigger cons? And they said that this is like sort of like a small and medium-ish size convention. So I'm thinking the bigger conventions, their convention halls are, their dealers halls, they're gotta be even bigger and even more. Which kind of sort of plays into another tip, which I will get to after I talk about the artist alley. The artist alley, the dealer's hall was probably one of my favorite parts of it, and the artist alley was another one. The artist alley is this amazing little section almost at the front of the hotel. It's the first thing that you see if you're bypassing the lobby of the Wyndham and you're going to the convention area. Pre-registration, that's kind of like you can't miss the artist alley. And it's this section where a bunch of artists are set into, they share a table, and they're just there to sell their prints, to sell their accessories, buttons. They can do original commissions. I vow that next year I want to get even more money so that I can request for an original commission, because I want like something unique done for me. And I bought a lot of art, and my apartment is in need of some art. Don't worry, when I get a bigger place, I will most definitely want some wall room to get some art all over this, like maybe some frames to put each piece there. But Artist Alley is so great. I spoke to a lot of artists in Artist Alley, and they were so kind and friendly, and they love to share their tips. And I have not been drawing as much, but I am gonna get back to that as well, because it's great. It's such a great community. Those people were friendly to me, and they're very humble. They're very talented. They don't see themselves as being that good. I hate it when they do that to themselves. But they say that you are your own worst critic, and you're an artist. And sometimes I just think that you just kind of have to be happy with what you can produce. And yeah, that's just maybe something I could talk about some other time. But a lot of them, they were very, very kind. They're very nice. And of course, the game room. This is one of the things that blew my mind about AFO, and because this is an anime convention, you're expecting anime, period, but you get more than that. You get internet-related stuff. You got video games. This place is filled to the brim with games. I mean, we're talking this one room where they have a full cabinet of Dance Dance Revolution Extreme, which is my favorite of all of them. They had TVs with systems. They had Super Street Fighter 4 Ultra. They had Killer Instinct 2. They had an Xbox One with Killer Instinct. They had Injustice for the PlayStation 4. They had a Wii with Super Smash Bros. Project M. They had a Mario Kart 8 setup. They had a full arcade setup with Soul Calibur 2, which was amazing. They had a Blaze Blue Chrono Phantasma set up there. They had a bunch of fighting games that were anime related. I didn't know of them. They also had, which is one of the coolest things, I admit, they had a custom-made panel. I think this was a PC that they had in shape of a joystick, or at least as like a micro PC. They were playing Nidhogg. Nidhogg. This game in which you are dueling swordsmen and you have to reach to the other side and get swallowed by the Nidhogg, and it was intense. I saw a couple of Nidhogg matches, and I recorded one where there's this cool scene in which he throws a sword and he's trying to catch up to the guy. The sword is still behind spinning it. He's trying to get it, and then he gets stabbed with his own sword. I kid you not, that was amazing. That was amazing. Now, up to this point, all of this, these are all pros. And I think the biggest pro is the AMV contest. Do yourself a favor and do not miss this thing. AMVs, they're anime motion videos or animated motion videos, and these are basically like, if you ever go to YouTube and you search for an anime, you'll almost always get a suggestion that says AMV. Well, basically what it is, it's like a video that is cut to the point and edited to the point where you're sort of just like making a music video where you're highlighting the music, but you're also showing the anime as being sort of like plotting together this video together. And some of these AMVs that I saw were fantastic, and the AMVs creators were some of their own harshest critics. There's this one which I cannot remember her name, and she was the host of the How to Make Your AMV Awesome. She's from the beginning. The whole thing, I was like, look, you guys are better than me. I don't know why you guys are listening to me. I'm like the worst one of you all. But she still has fun. She still made amazing AMVs, and her friend as well. And you know what? This is a 2-hour event. It flew. It was very, very fun. It was very, very exciting. It was funny. It was dramatic. It was exhilarating. It was the very last event and the day, I think, for most people. I think this was just like the end. This is when, I mean, I know there's the closing ceremonies, but this is the main event, the AMV contest. I think that there are cosplaying contests, but I didn't attend those. But this AMV contest was the shit. This was the shit. Now, the cons, I think, and this could just be a con for me, but I thought Siberia was a bit of a con. Siberia, it's your rave. That's it. It's a 4-hour time slot given to the main rooms, the main stages where, you know, the AMV contest was. And this whole thing turned the con sort of upside down. I'm going to be talking about it more on the video that I talk about the things I did on Saturday, but I didn't attend the rave because I had a couple of panels that were interacting with the rave. But really just because the anime, it's weird because I told this to Cindy and I told this to Anne, and I'm like, it's sort of weird how suddenly this anime convention that was about having people just who were very weird and lonesome and introverted, they just release them to this world of introverts and loners, and they'll suddenly just making friendships that last forever. And yet somehow when Siberia started around, it felt like it was a college party. It felt like it didn't feel at all like an anime convention. And I didn't like that because I thought that it felt more like the convention had been taken over by a bunch of party dudes. That's just my opinion. I did not attend Siberia. I didn't have any interest of attending Siberia. Growing up, I'd attended so many parties and so many get-togethers where all you all do is dance. The rave scene is just not my thing. I am sorry if it makes me sound like a prude. It's just, or old or whatever. But to me, I think, the rave, people tell you should probably go to the rave. I didn't go to the rave. I didn't miss anything much. And then there was a pool party as well. And I was like, this is like almost 3 o'clock in the morning, and there's like 50, maybe 100 people by the pool. And I'm wondering, is like, does anybody else that isn't staying for the con mind this? This seems like it's a bit of a disturbance almost. But apparently that's normal. And there was a really interesting thing that they mentioned to me. It was like, most of these people, they never cut loose. They never had many people to hang out with, and all of a sudden they arrive at the con and they have so many people to hang out with. So it is that sort of like, okay, this is like, if you've never been to a party, this is sort of like the party for you. But of course, there's a lot of drinking, and I think they age check you for Siberia. Let me just check this. No, they don't. Actually, they don't. There's a setup, but they don't age check you. But they don't let you drink in Siberia, so at the very least, if the con staff didn't do that. Another con was that some of the con staff treated friends of mine really badly. Like, say, for example, there is a panel that was filled up to the brim, and people left the panel, and that person wouldn't let her in. That was like the League of Legends panel. And then all of a sudden another panel did, and it was the same person. So there are con staffers that, they like to abuse their authority. Like you're given an AFO shirt, and you're given an AFO badge. All of a sudden I'm a staff member, and they think they are the hot shit. No consideration whatsoever. But overall, the grand majority of the staff is super friendly. They always ask you, where do you need to go? Where's this? Where's that? If you need to go to a con room in specific, they do. Now, one more con is, and I'll be getting into these more, is that some of the panels really should have just been done at earlier times, because there are some panels that have a slower pace and other panels have a quicker pace. And the quicker pace ones and the more exciting ones, I think, should be at the later times, because those are your ones that keep you awake. Some of these panels, they go up to 2:30 in the morning, almost 2 o'clock. They're still doing panels. But overall, that's just a personal con of mine. But I'll get more into details when I'm talking about the cons themselves. And now I'm going to get to a few tips. And a couple of tips here and there. And I'm almost done with the video. I know I'm going to the 30-minute mark, but there's a lot that I wanted to say just because this is just my overall induction with this here. So just wanted to give you a couple of tips I wrote down. I talked about the pre-registration. Pre-registration lines are actually quite shorter than the ones that are registration, because you've already paid for them. All you have to do is go do a line and pick up your badge, and then that's it. Then of course the hotel. You gotta book your hotel early. If you're gonna be like me, you probably were lucky enough to have someone that kind of set up, like, we're gonna stay all in the same room. I kind of wish maybe for the next time, maybe like split to separate rooms so that maybe I could get a whole bed. But we shared a room. It worked. And that saves you a little bit of money. And like I said, you plan your con. The staff at AFO posted this, I think the week of the event, maybe a week and a half, maybe more. I have no idea, but I only noticed this very recently. So if you haven't planned, you should plan which of these you want to go to. My suggestion is normally on, if you have gone to your con and you haven't planned anything what to do, I noticed that a lot of these events didn't start till like the late afternoon. So I suggest arriving there very early to register and then grabbing one of these and just plan out your con. It's a little bit of a chore because you have to do this around all this excitement. All you want to do is just go around. I suggest you do this before you get there because you know where you want to go. All you have to worry about is where's the panel located. So you just get there and there you go. You got it. They're all divided into their own names. They all have their distinct. You got a map. It tells you everything, where everything is located. So, and of course, ask the staff, ask the con staff. They'll tell you where everything is at. Shower. There's one big one that I didn't notice this too often because I'm actually pretty happy that the people that went there and also know this, is that when you are walking the whole day, or you're at the games room, or you're walking from point A to point B, everything is very well. There was a lot of air conditioning, a good airflow, so there is not a lot of con funk. But there are people who you sit with or that are in front of you that reek. And it's because they go to a full day of con activities and they go to sleep. They do not shower before they go to bed. They do not shower before they get up. I understand the excitement. I understand that you're too tired to want to get a shower, but I did it. And then there's a difference between that and then going off and not doing it when you wake up. If you have cons to go to, panels to go to, you wake up early and then you go. So it's more as a terms of a consideration towards everybody else around you. If you don't want to scare people away, just avoid not showering every day, or at least bring extra shirts. So if you spend a whole day sweating, maybe you can, if you don't have time to shower, you can go back to your room, swap your shirt, put some deodorant. That way, at least, you're a little more fresher too. Budget and scout during the first and second day. That's what I did. Now, a lot of the major people who were there in cons, I've heard about it in videos also, is that, well, a majority of the stuff they go down in price by the third day. I didn't notice this too much when I was in the last day in the panel because majority of the prizes still sort of kept the same. But here's a tip. Just budget yourself. I took $200 and $200 was the most that I was going to spend. And I made sure that that was all I was going to spend. Take money that you intend to spend. Take cash as well, because a lot of the stuff, there was a big issue with reception when you go into the exhibition halls and in the panel rooms. So, they're trying to charge you through PayPal, or they're trying to charge you through an ATM that works out of the Wi-Fi of the hotel Wi-Fi that everybody's using. Then you are going to be screwed. But if you take cash, the transaction is quick. If you need more cash, find the closest ATM and do that. But try to go to the con already ready with a budget. But also, do yourself the favor of also just scouting the first, maybe the second day as well. So that way, all you've got left is the lazy Sunday where not a lot of people are doing much. There's not a lot of panels to go see. And all you've got is time. And just go out and go crazy and enjoy Artist Alley and the dealer's hall or room and just enjoy. But try to keep it together, keep the spending together. So, and also do that with food, and eat well. Eat well. Don't just do what we did, which is kind of weird. I kind of learned that yes, we did have snacks, but what we wanted to try to do was have more meals. The hotels will most likely not have a microwave for you to cook yourself something, or a fridge. A fridge is at the best, but if you don't have a fridge, do what we did. I took a cooler and we filled it up with ice, we filled it up with water, we filled it up with sandwiches that were like Uncrustables, like the Smucker's Uncrustables. Those were really handy. But do yourself a favor and eat well. Eat a good meal in the morning. If you didn't bring anything like sandwiches, or you don't have anywhere to go, and you can afford to eat somewhere near the hotel, or go. We were fortunate that we were in an international drive, so there's a ton of eating stuff around there. You have to walk a bit, but you get a meal. So, and do yourself the favor of just not relying on snacks, because you're just going to be stuffing like candy and stuff, and you're going to get yourself sick. I got sick. My stomach, it felt horrible. I felt bad afterwards. I was driving with this bloatness in my stomach all the way from Orlando to Tampa. It's like over an hour. Then I have to drop Cindy back. Then I had to stay over, and I threw up basically everything I ate. More details on that in my Sunday video, but to keep it in perspective, you have to try at least to not go crazy. Just don't go crazy. Just eat good. Try to eat as healthy as you can. Try to get your 3 squares if possible, and try not to go overboard with snacks. We kind of did. I felt that it may have been a bit of a waste, but at least, because they got you squared away. You got water, they got coolers all over the place, but I don't know if they always do that in every con. So bring water, bring snacks, coordinate with people, try to plan where you're going to go eat. We unfortunately didn't get to go to a Japanese restaurant that we had been wanting to go, and none of us knew that it was closed on Sunday, so that was kind of on us. So sadly, it may have been open on Sunday before, but it didn't. It was kind of our duty to find this out. Take some Purell with you. So that way you don't catch. There's a lot of people there. There's gonna be a lot of touching of everything. Try to have yourself a little bottle of Purell with you in your backpack, in your pocket. When you get done going to somewhere, you don't have time to wash your hands, go to the bathroom, just rub some Purell on you. And of course, have fun and be yourself, because it could not be a better place for you to be yourself and have fun. Because a lot of people that go cosplaying, and they go to share their love of something, they go to a place like this because they feel at home. And that's what I felt like. Even I, who have just now gotten a much more greater appreciation for anime now, which now kind of makes me want to watch a lot more anime. No, I do want to watch more anime. Just to be a huge fan, and now it's amazing. It's an all ages thing. Everybody loves just to be there. It was such a fun experience. Everybody was so kind. It's a little bit awkward because I have much experience. Don't talk to too much people face to face on a weekly basis, so I was just kind of thrown into the wolves. But look, just don't worry about them. People, and here's the weird thing is people would think is afraid of people thinking that you're weird. You go not dressed with a cosplay, that's fine. You know why? Because people are dressed up in a bunch of stuff different than you. They're all weird and obey. They're all it's a weird experience overall. But it was a super fun experience. It was super great. I enjoyed every second of it. There were moments where in some days were not great. I got sick. That was obviously not great. And there were some panels that left a lot to desire, but there were some that were extravagant, well put together, and I enjoyed every minute of those particular panels, as well as the AMV contest. There were no incidents. Everything was well organized. There, with the exception of some of the panels I will be talking about in detail. But that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that my absence wasn't too bad. I will most definitely just share the video that I'm going to be working on, the video to just this panel thing that I'm doing. Covering everything in the con, showing you everything, a little bit of everything. And if you guys went to AFO 15 and you see this video, let me know what you guys thought was the best thing out of the entire AFO experience. If you have any other tips to offer for everybody for maybe next year's AFO or any other con that you want to go to for the first timers like I was, leave them down below, please. Be kind. Any would be appreciated. 41 minutes. Sorry I've been so long, but there was a lot to talk about, and there is a lot more to talk about. So thankfully I noted everything down and things went the way I wanted. I said everything I needed to say. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. Pick your con, plan it out, take some friends, and just enjoy. Because it could be the best weekend of your life. And this weekend I felt really good. It felt really great being there. So thank you so much for watching. And AFO, I will most definitely be back next year. You got me on the list. Bye.